We're here with the first episode of the Hot 10 Music Groups podcast. We're here with Benny Pough, Jasmine Gordon, Aaliyah Terry, and Cornell Mapp. So we're gonna start talking about the It's Your Time conference, HBCUs in general, the Hot 10 in general, and kind of like our background. So we'll get started with you, Benny. How did you get started? Your background, It's Your Time, everything.
Man, first and foremost, thank you for having me here.
Of course.
It's an amazing place. Right? Thank you, guys. Shoot, I mean, I could talk all day if we talk about how I got started.
Let's hear it.
You know, the music business, it's an interesting story because I was a stand-up comic.
Oh.
Is how I actually got into the music business.
Right.
Get out of here. I ain't joking. I just want y'all to be straight, right? Because this is forever. People fail to realize when you do stuff like this forever, right? So you're gonna be judged by, like, you know, the aliens in the future,
Right.
on all that. Like, they don't even know English, right? But anyway, but most importantly, you know, I started as a stand-up comic while I was at college at St. John's University,
Okay.
and it was interesting. At the end of the show, the local promoter for Motown Records, she booked me, and at the end of the performance, when it was time to get paid that hot $25 for slamming, you know, got them thunderous, throwing all of that, right? But it was $25, and she asked me what was my plan, what was I doing. I hadn't even put together, you know, my resume.
Right.
I had no steps. I was graduating, you know, just like most college students from where we came from. Not probably, y'all probably a little more prepared, but, you know, college was only like the next step. You know, like cats either went from, after high school, you either got a job or continued the job that you was at, right? Or, you know, somebody from your family worked for the government, so you got a government job, right? I'm gonna get you in, boy, and you better not mess up my name, right? That's you better not mess up my name, right? You're either that. The military was always like, they getting you from the 11th grade, beating you down when you find out nobody returned. Like, yo, you don't put in all your applications and ain't nobody sent you that letter back. You like, oh, yeah, oh, man. But I want to be a Marine, but they like, nah, you only Army potential, right? But in any event, so when she asked me that, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't even prepare my resume. So she's like, why don't you come down and be my intern? And what's so crazy, I would imagine, from a generational perspective, you guys, they teach all about internships. Yo, I didn't know what an intern was, but I was a sales guy. So, you know, like, rules of sales, like, you do any and everything that you asked to do. So I was like, yeah, I'll be that intern. I figured out by the weekend, right, what an intern is. And that's how I got my entree into the music business, was by chance. So I'm probably one of the few people who ever got into music with no aspiration of being in music, right? Because that's destiny, though. You know, obviously, you know, if you get into divine order and realize it's not your life, it's God's life. So you're going to be where you're supposed to be when you have to be.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact.
I was just going to ask, too, if you ever doubted that you'd be in the music industry, but you didn't even plan on it.
I had no aspirations. 30 years.
That's amazing.
30 years.
That's
right?
beautiful.
But part of that is, once again, I lasted not because of my talent, not because of the artists I signed, not of my contribution, but it was, you know, my non-wavering conviction. Like, I wasn't the guy who wanted to be in everything, be hot, be hot, you know, like, why you can't, if you like searched me, you can't even find like photos of all the people I worked, because that wasn't what we did. Like, you wasn't, you know, what social media is different.
Yeah.
You have to be now. But like, if you was bigger than your boss, you getting fired.
Yeah.
You shinier than your boss, you gonna get fired. So you couldn't just run up on big artists come into the meeting. You like, yo, can I get that? You out. Right? Because there's a decorum that comes with it. And I think we kind of a little past that, but I think the people who understand how to move, they understand when to move. And because things are available, everything's not for you, nor should you play your hand or show your hand.
How did you learn the decorum, though? Is it something that just as the years went by, you started picking up little things like he went up and said, and he's gone now. So how did you learn it?
Well, it's who are we, right? We're the product of the village that we're raised. So ideally, when your parent is giving you, or your auntie or your uncle or somebody's telling you things over and over, you're like, nah, why you, right? That's for the moment that they're preparing you for the future.
That's a fact, though.
That's all that is, right? And you resisting it, and you feel like you wiser than everybody else who's been here before you. Yeah. But when you settle into the lessons, then you're going to understand the value of what you're learning. And then it's all stored for when the moment comes that, you know what? That's already there for you. You got the answer. So, part of it is study, but part of it is learn.
Do you think like something about you was specifically different from other people? Like you had an innate, I know you said you spoke a little bit about destiny. So you were supposed to live this life in the music industry. But do you think what set you apart as far as who you were versus other people when you first started out and you just kept getting opportunities?
So conviction, right? Non-wavering constitution. I came from a Baptist family. My mother was extremely bionic Christian. Like, she was one of those, oh my God. Like, y'all know exactly what that is, right? Bionic Christian, right? And because like we couldn't do anything, right? Without recognizing Jesus and God and all of that. And that's good, right? We're not knocking at it. We having fun with it, but we're not knocking at it because, one thing that you learn about religion is that's probably your first belief set on believing in something, especially that's unknown, right? That's Hebrews 11:1. You read that, it just tells you, obviously what faith is. And ultimately, for me, that was very important as I grew up, was leaning in on my faith and moving forward.
No, that's beautiful. So, we're sitting here trying to be in your shoes, trying to fill the shoes that, you and a lot of other executives have filled. What some advice that you would give to us, like, being in college? I know I'm about to graduate. We're all about to graduate soon. So what's some advice that you would give us?
I love the fact, right, if I can just tell your story a little bit.
Right.
If I could go backwards and be here with you at your age, I would definitely want to be down with y'all. Just because
appreciate that.
Because the ingenuity, like you got me here. So you got to think about, I don't even know where I'm at. Like, I'm not going to reveal the location. We're not going to put that out. But
we don't know where we at either.
But
we're not from Atlanta.
We all kind of like don't know where we are, but we're blessed to be here.
But what's important is I look at the ingenuity. Like, you guys have been able to accomplish at this stage in your life what other people's weren't or aren't necessarily knowing how to tap into. Right? You saw something, you wanted it, and you got it. Right? Now, this is just one step of many steps that you guys are going to move forward. And I think ultimately what it is you have a vision. So when you say, what is the best advice? You got to have a vision. Yeah. Right? Ultimately, some of them are going to win. Right? Yep. When you're going through the process and looking at the checkered line, right? When you're looking at the flag, you can't worry about, the things you messed up, the things you missed. True. How can I do that better or not? Because when you're in the moment, you just gotta execute. Yeah. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we don't know how it was challenging for all of us to get to this point, but we here. So whatever it was that happened prior, it doesn't matter. Because it's only this moment that matters. So people that are coming up and that's part of what the It's Your Time conference is about. Right. It's actually walking through my journey from, it's the mirror of my book, On Impact, Life Leadership, and Betting on Yourself. Okay. And the conference is the live version of my book that takes you through my journey from 11 years old to right now. And it puts you in context of all of the life. I put like all my life lessons in one, between two covers that are similar to yours, and obviously mine, that you can read and take away and understand the value of what it was. Like, I was, You know, I almost failed out of school. I had, straight up, I was married at 20, a baby at 21, was depressed, almost failed out and pulled myself back through it while I was at St. John's, right? But none of that matters if you don't see where you want to be. You got to have that destiny in front of you, right? Because for some people, they would have quit. Some people would have got broken. Some people would have blamed the game. Some people would have did a lot of other things, right? What does all that mean if you're just not applying yourself to the win?
Nah, that's a fact, though. That's a fact. And, like, you know, we're sitting here, like we just said, trying to be executives, trying to fill your shoes. I kind of want to go into, like, how you got started, where you are now, and, like, the blessings that you received to be at.
Yeah, so it honestly was all thanks to my HBCU, Spelman College. I started off, shout out to, that HBCU, number one HBCU in the nation.
Whoa.
Hold on.
We'll keep going, though. We'll talk about that later.
But, so I took my first music business course with Professor Thrash. A lot of people know him in Atlanta. And he brought a guest speaker, and her name was Deja Walker. She worked at Quality Control Music. And I was, like, nervous. Like, I kind of had to break out of my shell and go up to her after the class, after she, like, spoke with us, gave us different advice on just how to navigate the music industry. So I went up to her, and I was just like, hey, like, I just wanted to introduce myself. I wanted to get your contact information. Maybe we could connect outside of this. And she was like, yeah, shoot me a message. And I did just that. And she followed up with me, like, a couple weeks later, and she was like, hey, do you want to interview, like, for an internship? I was like,
back to the interns, see? Get hot.
Right. So I did just that, and a couple weeks later, I had an internship at Quality Control Music, and I was there for like a whole year just learning under so many different executives, Tamika Howard, Simone Mitchell, like so many different like influential people in the music industry, and it trajected me to like where I am now. Like now I work at the Recording Academy. I'm the Grammy U Atlanta representative for our chapter.
That's big. Hold on. Y'all need to give her. We got no flowers in here. She big.
She put me on.
She big, B. She big.
Yeah. So it was all surreal. They even the Recording Academy, they have like a program for HBCU students called Your Future Is Now, and I won that scholarship. It was like a $10,000 scholarship. They flew us out to New York. We got to network with people at Rock Nation, Recording Academy's office. We went to Republic Records, Amazon Music's office, got to meet so many different people. And I just stayed in contact with them. Like, I made sure to check up. It was a holiday. I'd be like, hey, happy holidays. Like, I hope you guys are well. And they still reach out to me to this day. Like, I can call on them for, like, any opportunities that I may need, any help. Like, if I want them to look over my resume, stuff like that. So I feel like just maintaining a genuine relationship with people in this business has shown me, like, that I can keep progressing if I'm, like, making sure that I'm true to, like, who I really am, make sure I'm being genuine with people that I meet. Right. So, yeah, that was honestly where I am now. And, like, now I also work at Sony Music as the college marketing representative for the Atlanta chapter as well.
Shout out Sony.
Yeah, so we really, yeah, right, we do. So, yeah, we actually have an event tomorrow with the artist named Mona Leo. She's a rapper. And we're doing a mental health advocacy, like, event. We have, like, a panel discussion, a meet and greet, a ticket giveaway. So I've been facilitating that, and yeah, I'm just trying to do whatever I can do, and I feel like just as a student, like, it's really rewarding to see, like, and even to bring, like, different artists to campus. I know you guys, I'm sure you guys are, like, behind the scenes at, like, homecoming shows and stuff like that, so I just feel like when we can bring it back to our HBCU, like, that's the most rewarding part of it, too.
For sure.
Bringing it back to HBCU.
Yeah.
Definitely, like, that's the whole goal.
No, the network is definitely extremely important. Like, even with the It's Your Time conference, the network is so much of what you get when you go to the conference. Yeah. So how do you think, like, the network has helped you grow along your career?
I was her, and why I say that is you asked the question earlier, what should people look to doing post-graduation? And it's the simple things, right? It's the persistence and consistency. Ultimately, you can't just call folks when you need something. You have to actually take the time to use your Rolodex. I mean, we've all heard of, your network is your net worth, right? That's not just loose words, right? It's not just somebody being hot, right, on Instagram. It's real, but that's a lot of work. When my friends was hanging out, I was banging out everyone I met, right? Like, always phone calling and emailing. Holidays is the best time. Hey, Mr. X, how are you? Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving or Christmas or all. It's just as simple, right? Just doing those things, because so many people are not they don't have a regimen on how to stay active with their contacts.
And I was just about to ask you that, like, when do you know when to use your contacts? Because, for example, like, I gathered up a lot of contacts throughout the time of me trying to be an aspiring executive, but I'm in the place right now where I know I want to be at a place to where I can hit them up for something, and it's not like, oh, okay, he's just asking me, he's just trying to get conversation out of me. It's more so like he's actually has something in place for me to join or for me to act on. So when do you know it's like the right time to leverage and use your content?
So I actually talk about that in my book. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I don't want you to read it. So
read
there's the A's, B's, and C's. A's, B's, and C's, right? And D's, which actually, in a short version, it just gives you the value piece of how you make sure you manage relationships and what each relationship is. So we traditionally live in a lot of transactional relationships, and transactional relationships are important, right? Because you only know I need you because you to connect to the colleges,
right,
but we not going out to have no meals. We not, we ain't doing that. You know what? However it is, whatever we bartering, however, but there's no deepness in that, and that's okay. So I might call you, or you might like, yo, Benny, hey, listen, can you get me in contact with, because oh shoot, I got to, because Cornell, he the man on that. Oh, now he hit me with something, but it's still transactional, right? And that's okay. The problem becomes when people start going beyond thinking a transactional relationship is now a mentoring relationship or, something substantive, right? And that's where you have to put in each of your value set. What do I need to do? Like, your mom, parents, and people of importance should always know that they're important in your life. Your mentor needs to know that, because these are the people who are there for you all the time, whether you win or you lose. Right. And you have to realize that as you build in relationships. Like for me, if I don't break bread with you, we clear. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? If I don't invite you to if we not at my house at some point, and we not getting in my house because I met you and we kikiing, right? We not doing that because we happy and it was a good one and with all of that. You ain't getting to my house, right? Because those things are super, super, super of high value, right? And those people, you have to be able to discern who are the folks you let in your life. So look at all of your business as you would a relationship. However if you losing and picking men and women in your life, then you're gonna be picking wrong in business, right? So, because you haven't figured out what's important for you and what's value and your value, because some things some people you don't want, no matter if they can give, right? I don't want that. That's not my opportunity.
So, on top of keeping contacts and how do you make them? So, like, for example, It's Your Time conference. People are gonna come. Try and make contacts with all the executives and people of importance at the conference. How do you what's some advice to somebody who's just looking to make the contact?
So what we are doing is we're putting together a digital workbook. So you have everyone's information. One. Okay. Now you could imagine 1,000 people have that. How many people are actually going to email and say, "Hey, Cornell, I saw you speak and it was amazing." Because people, let's be 100. Let's be 100. People like attention. Right. So you got to feed the egos first. Right. So some folks are going to hear you speak and right. That's going to be the first, because when you go in your queue, you're going to be like, wow, right? And then the person who that, right? But then the person that comes in 3 days later, one or two things could happen. Either you're going to disregard them or they could catch you right at the moment, right? So I think you should try and stay consistent until you get a response. Okay. And then you cycle folks, right? Okay. There's nothing wrong with the old school, hi, my name is X, Y, and Z. I'm looking for, an opportunity in this, and I've been following your career. And you know what? If nothing else, I'm going to work for you. If that's what you want, right? You got to be forward. You got to ask for it, right? You got to claim it. You got to put it in the put it in the atmosphere. Right. I just bought a trailer park in South Carolina, only because I put it in the universe. Like straight up. Like shouldn't have had it, wasn't on the market. Yo, it's 22 units. Yo, it's all of the things that for a person who's never done it, all the bells and whistles are there. The only reason that happened is because I spoke it out loud.
Nah, the power.
And all of the pieces came together. So therefore, if you're coming to the conference and you want to network, then you need to network with everybody, not necessarily the people who you see, but the value of the people who are there. You don't know what they're gonna bring to you, or be able to give to you, or bring for you, right? So I wouldn't be isolated just on the speakers. I wouldn't just put myself. They're important, and you want a beeline, right? But obviously, you better be ready to work for that, right? You gotta be ready to work. You gotta be ready to work. But what I would do is like, well, who with them? Let me hit the little side person and hit them too, right? You gotta, figure all of that out and have your little elevator pitch one-on-one, right? Don't be get stuck, right? Like now they say, hey, what you got? What you got? Now you stuck. So, we've listed all of the panels. We'll have all of the speakers, and I think for anybody who's looking to network, you just have to prepare for your moment and also be able to push yourself forward in what you want to take away from the time that you're spending.
Absolutely. All right, so while we was off camera, he said something like very passively that he signed Future. I really want to get into that, like, and into like your career when it comes to individual artists. Like, how was that? Who you signed? Where have you worked at? All that.
So I've worked at 7 different labels. Started my career, as I said, at Motown Records. I would date myself if I started telling you those artists, because y'all be like, yo, this dude old. Who is he? So I'm going to bring y'all fast forward, right?
All right.
So I did Motown. I did Perspective, which was Jam and Lewis's label. I did MCA Records, Casey and JoJo, all my life. Jesse Powell, y'all ever heard that record? Gabe, no. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna get y'all keep moving. There you go. See, I'm gonna get y'all. I'm gonna keep y'all moving. I'm gonna get y'all current in a minute. So I started at Def Jam. Let's go there, right? Okay. All right, I'm gonna get y'all up. Now we know y'all. You said we know what Def Jam is. That is hilarious.
You know what's crazy?
He said, I know what it is.
I know about it from the video game. My uncle used to have a video game, the Def Jam video game, where it's like a boxing video game, but with all the artists.
Wow.
I was like
I
8.
never heard
And
that.
I remember when they did that.
Yeah.
That's ill.
That's how I started really like knowing about Def Jam in general.
Yeah. So we had an incredible run with some amazing artists there. Jeezy, Atlanta bass, he came through, which big. Rick Ross, 21. DJ Khaled, those Mariah Carey, Neo. You know what my contribution to all you guys forever and a day will be? You know who FLY is? Swag Surf. I signed that. Yeah. I can drop the mic, right? Yo, B, I'm official. I need something like I might need I don't know. I need something different for that, right?
A jacket with all the HBCUs.
Yo, that's it. Cause that is forever.
Wow.
Yo, that is forever. So that wasn't the first artist. The first artist was from Columbus, Georgia, and they were called Field Mob. They're local once again. But anyway, yeah, Swag Surf was like one of my second or third signings. That was phenomenal. Then I went there. I went to MCA, Def Jam, Epic Records. That's when Future, Gotti, 21 Savage, not 21. No, 21 Savage. Cash Out.
Okay,
remember that?
Yep.
Remember that? Yeah, I signed. So that was Cash Out was my first signing at Epic Records.
Okay.
Wow.
Which was that was fun. He was real fun. That was different, right? Yeah. I remember that. Did that, and then left there and went to Rock Nation, and then that's when I stepped out of the music business entirely and started promoting my book, which I don't know if you guys know, I was in a near-death car accident and hit a tree at 90 miles per hour as a passenger. Yeah. And that was the pivotal part in my life that actually got me here with you guys. Like, I wanted to be what's in the next step. Like, waking up every day in love with my destiny, not just making money, right? So being at the top of your game, like, you know, what most folks don't know, 7 different labels, I left every label at the top, right? And that's only to allow room for others to grow. So now, you know, for me, as someone who's identified talent and executive talent, I feel like this is the best course of action because, you know, I don't mind working for y'all. Y'all just got to pay me.
That's right where we wanted to go to anyway, because entrepreneurship, aside from working with the labels, entrepreneurship is such a big part of your brand and your identity. And we're, you know, young people trying to start up the Hot 10. If you want to give like a brief.
Yeah. So the Hot 10 is really just a platform for HBCU music artists and executives, aspiring executives. So what we do is just promote student artists, like I said, from NCAP. We have it at the 3 AUC schools now and Jackson State. So it really started off as an idea to create a mixtape. Cause I like I said, I go to North Carolina A&T, and at the time I was making music. So a lot of my peers that were also making music hung out like this. We were like this. So we just had an idea to create a mixtape. I hit up 2 of my business friends who were, you know, also making in the music industry. Somebody was making music and the other person was a popular DJ. It still is. And we created the Hot 10, which started off as a mixtape. Then it went on to promoting just 10 artists at A&T. Now it's at, like I said, the 3 AUC schools and Jackson State, and we're just going to keep moving. That's just the goal. Keep putting HBCU artists on the map.
For me, it was a lot different. Like, it's more similar to you in the sense that I didn't really plan to be in the music industry. So I was at school studying engineering, and I just always had a passion for entrepreneurship. So like in the last 2 years, I started up a sports entertainment company in my hometown in Charlotte. And so I was doing that, and I sort of dabbled and like stumbled upon strategic partnerships and sponsorship. And so I kind of started to enjoy that. And once I did that, I was like, I think I can do this like across the board when it comes to industries. So that summer I was working doing engineering, and I just wasn't being fulfilled. So I started looking at other opportunities, and I stumbled across Sony Music. And then ever since then, me and Cornell got in contact.
She the reason why we locked in Rap Snacks. She's being humble. She's very good.
Ballette. Got you.
But yeah, and then once we started doing that, once we started working together, it just kind of clicked, like the entrepreneurship mixed with the creativeness of what we can do with the Hot 10, I think is where like the sweet spot is, for me at least.
You said for me? Oh yeah, so I'm one of the representatives for the AUC Hot 10. Okay. So pretty much just covering all bases across Spelman, Morehouse, and Clark. So we had our first showcase. That was about 2 months ago.
Yeah, that was a lovely showcase.
It was really
showcase
dope.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Right.
So we gotta have you out of the showcase one of these upcoming ones.
Listen, see, now we transactioning all the way out, right? I love your pimp game. You done got me down here on my own dime, putting me in my own hotel, got me eating my own food. So let me tell you something. But you know what? That's game. See, you know what? Let's get it past the jokes. That's the character in me believing in you.
Tight.
And what y'all are doing, right? Because, you know, everything doesn't have a price. Everything has a value. And it's most important for me is one, the support, right? And ultimately get the support back, right? Because we're not transacting. We're actually building. And that's what's most important. And super excited about what you guys are doing and being able to fit in. When you talk about entrepreneurs, I think the word is overused right now, right? I really do.
I feel it.
Somebody said everybody.
I really want to know what you mean by that.
Well, I mean, it's simple. It's, you know, if you're not making money, it's a hobby, right? So you can call yourself whatever you want. I'd rather be a hobbyist, right? But
honestly though,
go ahead.
So how do you start then? If you're not making money,
you're supposed to, right?
You're
okay, I'm gonna break that down.
But you're still an entrepreneur at the time when you're not making money.
So do you want to? Well, no.
Okay.
No, you should be making money while you building. I'll actually talk about that as well.
Okay.
Right, having 2 plan A's.
Okay.
Like you shouldn't. You should never make yourself dependent. You always should be independent. And right, and at some point when you realize that whatever you're striving for is now able to support you, then you can cut the other one go. Right.
Right.
So if you working at Chick-fil-A, but you want to be an artist, don't say I want to be an artist and leave Chick-fil-A.
That's done.
That's silly, right? Because at some point you're going to know whether you're a good enough artist or you gotta leave Chick-fil-A anyway, right?
Right.
One or the other, but you shouldn't be like, I'm gonna stay with my mom and my dad or somebody's couch just because, I'm just an artist or I'm an entrepreneur, right? Like, yo, you can't do that, right? And that's not fair to yourself and fair to others. That's why I say that, right?
Nah,
and people have, now that doesn't mean that you won't have to lean on people who are willing to support you, right? People who are going to be there for you. That's why your circle matters, right? Because we all, we hope not to have bad times for all of us, but if they are, you'll have a soft landing because you have already built that network of folks that are going to be there for you. So back with the conference, when we're talking about entrepreneurs, this year, so last year, we created an avenue for musicians, artists. We had 2 days of auditions in Charlotte,
right?
And we had 2 days of conference panels. And on the fourth day, we did the grand finale, which we gave away $10,000 to the best artist, Juice Lord, who won out of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Congrats, Juice Lord.
Juice Lord, independent artist. And what's so crazy, and this is once again mindset. So he forgoed paying his rent. For 4 days, he drove from Raleigh to Charlotte Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Competing. Didn't pay his rent, because he was betting on himself and he felt he was going to win. Whether he did or didn't at that point, he believed in himself that was going to go down. Won the $10,000. You know what he did after that? He went went back home as the winner of the It's Your Time conference and did a free show for his audience and sold merch and made another $10,000. So that $10,000 that we paid him that night, we got the receipts, paid him that night, we wired that night, right? Zelle did that night, took that and he flipped that. And that's when you're an artist or you're an entrepreneur, you have to have a plan, right? And his plan came to fruition because of his belief in himself and betting on himself. So this year we want to reach out not only just to the music community, which we're offering a $10,000 grand prize, but we're also said like, yo, you know what? There are a lot of entrepreneurs or business-minded people of all ages, right? Because we all discover that we're at that, I want to do more for myself at different stages in our life. So we're offering, we have a business challenge that we're going to give $10,000 also for your ideas. You can come bring them and we'll have a pitch contest for that as well.
This is something you didn't do last year, right?
Didn't do, right. This is all new. And, we're super excited about, everyone coming in. We already have, people are just coming in droves on both ends with the opportunity is what's most important, and the outreach and the networking, et cetera, right? Because everyone's not going to win. You should come in as Juice Lord, believing you're going to win, but the relationships that you're going to make are going to be exponential.
So, oh, my bad.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of entrepreneurs, we definitely want to shout out the entrepreneurs from A&T who actually...
for sure.
They made these sweatsuits, so we want to shout out Brandy Worldwide and Art Boys Company.
And I'm going to shout out Rich Loner.
So, yeah, definitely check them out. Go to their website. They have a lot of good merch, and they're always dropping new things for the HBCU students.
Yeah, we got to show love to everybody that, like we said, that's like us, entrepreneurs trying to just make something shake while they're still in school. That's the whole motto of the Hot 10 is just like, staying in school and pursuing your dreams. A lot of people feel as though they gotta, especially as an artist, like drop out. Like, I don't need to go to school. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. But we trying to change that stigma. Keep going to school.
Two plan A's.
Two plan A's. Get your degree and make it in the music industry.
It's not one or the other.
It's not one or the other. Do both.
No. Yeah. And now you need to know so much about business.
Right.
You have to know now.
You have
like,
to.
Because
you get messed up. Like
it's gonna happen. Right? You don't think about it. Why do lotto winners go broke?
They don't know. They don't have a plan.
They have no plan other than putting their money down. And if you think about the audience that wins, are people that are ill prepared to have that kind of money.
Fact.
Like, you never see like Wall Street banker win, right? Like it's never none of that. It's somebody like it's almost rigged, right? Just because the money's going to come back anyway. So the first thing they do is tell you, hey, do you want the payout? You want the annuity? So you got to make a big choice right now. Do you know what an annuity is, or you want all the money? And you're right, that's a lot. Like you just can't be like, oh well, I feel like right. Nah. So if you're not prepared for business, then how can you win?
No, there's no way.
Right? If you don't set yourself up and do the work, like Instagram is not the work.
Now
It's just not the work.
I can't lie though. A couple people that really know how to use Instagram. It can be the work.
But they're a couple.
Couple.
Yeah.
It's not.
I mean, it's a couple. It'll be. Listen, there's masters in everything.
Yeah.
There's masters in everything.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't there be in Instagram, social media? There are people who like on the curve. You got to think about it. The masses are the herd following the leader.
True.
Right.
True.
But that's where if you think about what they call a network pyramids. The first people in are the ones that get the money. Everybody else is like.
I just had to give him a lesson in this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. But the first ones in are the ones who get it.
They get the money.
Now the rest of y'all selling all this. Yeah, but I'm the one. Yo, you didn't hear about? Nah, B. Nah. And now we gotta put you on block because y'all put you on block and all of that because every time you call you trying to sell me pots because you believe that is
right.
Come on.
No, but we definitely want to give you your flowers too.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's been a long line of hip hop. It's been a long line of music, and
for real.
we need people who are willing to intentionally pour into HBCU students with the terms like have 2 plan A's. You can do both. You can have your education. It's almost imperative the way the world and society and the economy is going that you have both those things. And so when people like you look back and intentionally do those things, it creates so much for us.
So I'm not talking about it. I'm being about it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing an executive residence at North Carolina Central University in January, which is, I'm super excited. Thank you, Dr. Ariel, for the opportunity. So for me, I never had an opportunity to, when I went to school, I went to middle class kind of suburban school. And when you have to think about, you only know what you know. And everyone, when it was time for colleges, that was never an option. Like they send you to the Army first, right? Now, listen, I don't want to get political up in here because, I might get canceled or something. And I still got to get, but if you really think about it, when you think about the armed services, and I'm all for whatever anybody wants to do, but I even think that might be, as a young person, when we're talking about business, understanding that you're making a contract with the government, which would no be any difference than a D1 player. You're making a contract with a university. And the difference with a contract with a organization or a university with the government is that I will sign and allow you to have my life. But that's not how it's presented to you, right? Because it's the young ones that die first when you go to war. Thank God we don't do a lot, but realize they not putting the old dude with the belly and Captain Joe. No, when it's time to go. So, but that level of conversation isn't given in making the choice. Now, once you make the choice, you got to keep on moving. But do you know all the information on how you make the decisions in every part of your life? And that's what's key.
Facts. So, I guess to wrap this beautiful conversation up, it's your time conference.
January 11, 12, 13th, and 14th.
14th. We got the auditions. We got the business pitches.
Yep.
Beautiful connections to make and to leverage when it's time. And I guess I want to give final remarks to just people, artists and entrepreneurs, HBCU artists and entrepreneurs. We all give a quick little 2-sentence advice to somebody who might be watching. We start with you.
I would say don't compare your journey to anybody else. I feel like in the music industry, everybody's trajectory is so different. I feel like I might have gotten to different opportunities way faster than some might have. So, but you can't compare that because that will really destroy you. You give up. So I feel like if you just really get tunnel vision. Like, please get tunnel vision and know your passion, know where you want to see yourself in a couple years, and then just really lock in. I feel like apply to all your opportunities that you can, even if you get a no. Like, don't let that discourage you. Don't let that be the last thing you apply to. I kept applying to Sony Music, and then eventually they decided to choose me. So yeah, I would definitely say just don't give up and don't compare yourself.
I would say definitely don't let, trying to be perfect be the death of the good. So if it doesn't have to be, it's never going to be the right time. Start right now. And like you said, Cornell has taught me a lot of things in the sense of, like, be confident enough to ask for what you think you're worth, no matter who's in the room. Like, be bold enough to be who you are and know that whatever you put in, the result is going to be worth it for these people. So I would say definitely don't let trying to, like, get all the ducks in order prevent you from starting. Start right now and then continue on every single day. And also know when to quit. Know when something is not working, when you start losing, when it's no longer serving you. Quitting has such a bad stigma with our generation, but that has to change. We have to know when it's time to wrap up. 2 plan A's, but make sure they're flexible. Don't marry an idea. Shout out him for saying that to us because we needed it.
Nah, for real. And my advice would just be to take a step. Like, a lot of people are in college and just going with the motions, just going through the flows, going to class, and not really putting the dreams that they actually have into action. So I would just say take that step because that's the best thing that you're going to do. That's what I did. That's what really got me started. I had an idea, and I actually took a step on the idea, and it's working out tremendously for me. So, and a lot of other people that I know, also be around people you want to be. Like, a lot of people who I hang around now are entrepreneurs, people who actually want to see success in their own life. So keep being around people who you actually want to be, Yeah.
Wow, I don't even know where to go after all of that. Y'all should have just y'all was preaching, right? Y'all was preaching, but more importantly, back to your point is don't stay past your expiration date. Talk about that, right? And that's in a lot of all facets of life, business, relationships, right? Friends and foes. Don't be past too long because that'll make you stagnant. My recommendation to everyone here is, this is an opportunity for you being a part of the conference. I'm doing it for folks like this, right, and the next generation, right, because what I think about and why I picked Charlotte is it's a destination because it's an underserved market in talent. But also in business, but it's also a great destination for executives. So we're bringing in some of, the biggest, brightest executives from all around the country that people couldn't even meet in their respective cities to Charlotte for entrepreneurs as well as in the creative business space. We have Doc Winters, who's the president of iHeart Hip Hop. And R&B. He's going to be the president of Epic Records, Sony subsidiary. He's gonna be there. We have AC the Plug. She runs all the content for the Shade Room. She's going to be there. Monica Barnes. She's the producer of Steve Harvey's morning show. We have Freddie Cameron Jr. He is the supply chain salesperson for cookies. You guys know cookies. Yeah, and we have a whole host of other people that are coming. So what I would say for everyone is to bet on yourself. Don't be short on the investment in you, and make sure, like, if nothing else, that you there January 13th and 14th live in Charlotte.
Where can they get tickets?
Yo, itsyourtimeconference.com. Itsyourtimeconference.com.
And we're in a Hot 10 bio.
You get the Hot 10. Yo, y'all got that discount running for them.
We got the discount. Make sure that you tap in with us. If you're a student, college student, we got a discount for you. DM us or just go on the page, go on our link. It's in our link. Go ahead and get the tickets now, please.
And if you ever want to get to me, call him first.
Call me first. I'll see.
That's right. You gonna leverage it up, cause you done hustled me down here, B. Yo, I need to have a gatekeeper now.
Nah, for real. But I appreciate you for hopping on this podcast. You as well. And that's it.
All right.